So pretty excited what's in this box. Go ahead and open it up and show you guys. Alright, so we got 4 spacers here. These are 1.5 inches, and they are HUB centric. It's very important. Here they are. I'll include the link below where I purchased these. These are 1.5 inches, and I read some reviews, read some people on the forum, people who have ran these, and they haven't had an issue since, and I'm going to go ahead and give them a shot myself. These are machined aluminum. Grade 8 stuff, so this is high quality stuff. They're hub centric, which is very important. It just means the wheels will sit on the hub. Be sure to double check that if you're ever installing spacers. Make sure your wheels do rest on the hub, that way all the weight isn't on the actual studs there. That's how you cause accidents. Alright, first thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and break loose the lug nuts. I've already done this, but just showing you guys on camera. Go ahead and jack up our Wrangler here. Okay, so tires off the ground. And we'll go ahead and get our jack stand in here underneath just in case. Alright, so we got room to work here. Let's go ahead and get this off and get the first spacer installed. Get that out of the way. Alright, we'll go ahead and give this a quick cleaning. Use a wire brush and brush off any excess dirt or debris. Alright, so the most important thing, I want to make sure that we are completely clean. So I'm just going to go through with a wire brush. Brush off these studs. A little bit of dust in there. Just want to take my time and make sure I do this right the first time. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and do a test fitment here just to make sure everything lies flush. That we don't have any gaps or anything like that. Okay, it is sitting flush against the disc there. There's no gaps, it's not sticking out anywhere, no weird abnormal bumps, so that's good. So far so good. Let's keep on going. I also want to point out, it's very, very important that this spacer does sit on the hub, which is very, very important. If you're going to buy some wheel spacers, make sure that's hub centric. What I mean by that is this little thing that sticks out there, make sure that this ring sits on that ring. Otherwise, all the weight it's going to be distributed onto the studs, and that's how the spacers fall off. Alright, so a question I've been asked a few times already is whether I can run an 1.5 inch spacer without cutting the studs. With this spacer setup, you can. The way the JL wheels are set up from behind are, there's this little indent right here all around where the factory studs protrude. So let me see if I can explain this any better than I'm... Alright, so with the 1.5 inch spacer, you can see that the factory studs, they protrude past the spacer width by just a tad. What we're gonna do, and that's okay, because the way these spacers sit and the way these things sit in there, so they'll sit flush. The fact that the factory studs protrude past the spacer, it's not a problem. It's because you have that indent in there that I showed you initially, right here where my thumb is. It goes in there. That's how that works. Stay tuned. Okay, so we're going to get all these nuts off, and then we're going to put them onto the studs on the Jeep. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and put some Loctite on these nuts, on the threads, and a little bit goes a long way. Go ahead and thread these in by hand, and then we'll go around with a torque wrench and torque it to factory spec, which is 130 foot-pounds. Okay, so we got all of these pretty snug with a star pattern. On my torque wrench, I'm going to go ahead to set this to 130 pounds, which is factory spec, and we're going to torque this in the star pattern. There we go. Okay, we'll go up here. Alright, we're good to mount the tire. We're good to mount the tire. Alright, so we'll go ahead and get these snug and then we'll torque it down to spec. Alright, so we got the driver's side rear spacer installed. As you can see, the tire definitely flares out a bit past the fender. To give you guys an idea, let me show you guys the passenger side. So passenger side doesn't flare out at all. It's tucked in pretty good. So we'll go ahead and get the other four on, and we'll give you guys a final reveal.